Welcome to Local Business Spotlight, where we highlight local businesses that are making an impact on our community.
My guest is Jamie Manning of Manning Law Company, located on Old Town East in the Columbus area. And Jamie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us about Manning Law Company.
Well, at the Manning Law Company, we help Christians get out of the marriages that God didn't put them in. We really specialize on not just focusing on the legal aspects of divorce, but also on the spiritual, the emotional, as well as the financial components of divorce.
And how long have you had the practice now?
I have been a licensed attorney since 2002 and on my own since 2005.
And so, again, located in Old Town East.
Yes.
So pretty convenient to most anybody in Central Ohio, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're just east of downtown and easy to reach off of 71 and 70.
Now, is your practice primarily Franklin County or?
Right now, I have been expanding. I have cases in Fairfield County, Delaware County, and even Madison County. I try not to go too far into Northeast Ohio, but I am willing to leave Columbus.
And tell me about your website. What will people find there?
At ChristianDivorceAttorneys.com, you will always find good information about my upcoming workshops. They're titled Co-Parenting, Tools to Make It Work. It's a 2-hour-long workshop that's designed for persons who are considering divorce, who are divorcing, or who have never been married but have children in common. It's a lot of really practical information on how you can avoid going to court and just really make the parenting relationship better. Also, on the website, there is good information about divorce care groups, places that you can go and get support for yourself while you're going through the divorce process, as well as links to obtaining individual spiritual direction. And there's a couple of really good links to articles and messages about the concept of Christian divorce. One of our important messages to get across, the reason that we do operate, is that we do know that God hates divorce, but God does not hate people who have been divorced. God does not hate people who have been subjected to divorce. Divorce itself is just as a violent, really very, I don't know. There's nothing nice or really good about divorce, and that's the thing that I think God doesn't like. But there are a lot of just resources on the website that can help us balance those things.
Jamie, there are a lot of law practices in Central Ohio. Why should somebody come to Manning Law Company?
Almost any attorney, especially one who says they specialize in divorce and domestic, can get you a divorce. I mean, there's paperwork that's involved, but at the Manning Law Company, we really cater to the person and the entire family. We recognize that this divorce affects you, your spouse, your children, your friends, your church family. And so we strive to not just get you a good legal outcome, but an overall good outcome for your entire family and support network.
How did you get into this particular branch of law?
It really found me. I wanted to be a social worker, if you would believe, on the way to law school. I was applying to Case Western for a dual degree, law and social work. And once I got involved with law, and I had my first legal internship at the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, working with the woman, Alexandria Rudin. She does a lot of domestic violence work, helping victims of abuse get away from their abusers. And I knew then that I had found my place. This is the perfect location for, someone who's interested in law and social work.
You're listening to Local Business Spotlight. I'm Ann Ray. My guest is Jamie Manning of Manning Law Company. You can reach them at 614-597-1330, 614-597-1330. That website we were talking about is ChristianDivorceAttorneys.com, ChristianDivorceAttorneys.com, and your office is in Old Town East.
Yes.
Well, we're hitting a part of the program, Jamie, that I find not only is it the most interesting part, perhaps, but it helps people really understand what it's like to work with you. Can you share a story or two of people you've been able to help?
Oh, absolutely. So I was really thinking about a couple of really key cases before I came in to talk to you today. One that I'm particularly proud of was a young woman who came to me after she had hired another attorney who did not specialize in family law. Her situation was she was in her second marriage, and her new marriage was a nice, healthy marriage, and the husband had gotten a new position out of state. As a result, her ex-husband had gone to court and restrained her from being able to move with her husband out of state because it was going to affect his parenting time, with the child that they had in common. I was able to come in and work on the case, get the court to lift the restraining order to allow her to relocate with her family to Florida to be with her current husband, as well as to negotiate a parenting schedule that would ensure that the child would still have a very strong relationship with the father that was going to remain here in Ohio.
That's a difficult situation.
Yes.
That's terrific. You said you had another story.
Yes. And so then another story, which is really kind of on target. This woman was married for this might have been a 15, close to 20-year marriage, and those are really hard to see fall apart. But she was married to a gentleman who was a very, a high up in his church, an associate pastor. And that is a very delicate position to be in, to be able to help her understand that just because he was a clergyman didn't mean that she wasn't being abused. That it was not okay for him to speak to her the way that he was talking to her. It was not okay for him to be abusing her financially and even forcing himself on her sexually. These things are not okay. And she really needed someone to be able to kind of hold her hand and be with her, because sometimes in these situations, your church family and your friends will even turn on you in these situations. And so I was able to help her to maintain her strength throughout this very difficult process. She was able to get away from that marriage without it destroying their co-parenting relationship. She was able to get strong enough to now currently be remarried and in a healthy relationship that I'm confident will stand the test of time.
Great stories, both of them, and I appreciate you sharing. Now, let's hit another area that will really help us understand your practice, and that's what can people expect when they come to you that's different than elsewhere?
Gotcha. What's awesome, I think, about the Manning Law Company experience is that you can expect someone who is going to be prayed up before you even come into the office. We think it's very important that all of the advice that we give is spirit-led, and that we're not advising people to do things that are going to be against their personal conscience, that are going to hurt their family, things that we're doing just to make money. And sometimes that happens with people who make their living from doing divorces. They encourage them even when they're not appropriate. We also are very open to spiritual conversations. We understand that people are led by God, and that is important, and that there's just a lot more to, like I say, a divorce than handling the paperwork.
So what kinds of things should somebody be prepared with, or to answer, or et cetera, when they come in for maybe an initial visit?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Mostly at the initial visit, I'm really just trying to find out what it is that the person is trying to accomplish. Sometimes people really just want to know what they can expect. So really, when you're coming to see me, just come with your open and honest questions. The only things that I will really need to know technically about you are, how long was your marriage? Do you have minor children? And just a basic idea of your assets. Do you own a home? Do you guys own it together? Are there retirement accounts? And things of that nature, so I can get a sense of the complexity of the case. But mostly, just come with your questions.
What are some misconceptions that are out there about what you do?
Very good. Well, one of the main misconceptions is because we are Christian divorce attorneys, the question is, well, do you only do divorce? And not exactly. We also handle all of the things that happen after a divorce that are the result of a divorce. Sometimes people divorce, but like I spoke earlier, they still have children in common. Sometimes there are still issues regarding those children even after the divorce. we help families with that. We help families who have children who have never been married, because unmarried parents also have custody and family-related issues that we can help them with. So that's a big misconception. Another misconception about Christian divorce attorneys is that everything we do is collaborative or mediation, and that's not exactly true. Some cases have to go to trial, and we do go to trial in cases where that's the best thing.
Let's talk about your workshops again. You mentioned them briefly when we were talking about your website, but tell us a little bit more about the workshops you offer.
Awesome. Thanks. It's Co-Parenting, Tools to Make It Work. It's a 2-hour-long workshop, and it is absolutely free. I am offering them quarterly presently, generally at the downtown library, but I am available to bring this workshop to any congregation or group of people who would benefit from it. The ultimate purpose of the workshop is to get as many people as possible to not go to court to litigate their family-related matters. I give a lot of practical information on just how to work with the other parent, even when the relationship is broken down. A lot of good advice on what kind of cases should go to court and what kind of things the court can and cannot do to help you. At the end of the workshops, I always have the people who have come write reviews. And the things that I have read that I've been the most proud of are, one, a young woman wrote, "I'm going to encourage my daughter to have a relationship with her father." Another person wrote, "I'm going to look at my ex as a human being who I should have compassion for and not just as an ex."
Excellent. Well, let me tell everybody how to reach you again. The number is 614-597-1330, 614-597-1330, or visit ChristianDivorceAttorneys.com, ChristianDivorceAttorneys.com.
Thanks for joining us for Local Business Spotlight. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not reflect the views of the staff, advertisers, or owners of this station, Salem Media of Ohio, or Salem Media Group. Please join us again for Local Business Spotlight.